Welcome back to Everyman's Fantasy for Week 11. I'm Liam.
And I'm Tyler.
And we got some big news for you guys this week.
Let's start with the quarterbacks.
Robert Griffin III is our top performer this week. He goes against Philadelphia, whose defense has been weak, and he's projected 21 points, but he's not our biggest story of quarterbacks this week.
One sad game that we're expecting is Brandon Weeden. He has been consistent, but going against Dallas in Dallas, expect him to have 5 points or even less.
And the big story this week is Nick Foles, the rookie quarterback who's taking over for the injured Michael Vick. Foles looked decent last week against Dallas until he threw the pick six and things got out of hands. Look for him to go against a tough defense, not so tough defense of Washington, and he's not the only rookie quarterback that'll be going in this week.
All these backup QBs going in: Colin Kaepernick for the injured Alex Smith, Jason Campbell for the injured Jay Cutler, and Byron Leftwich, who has gotten it done before, going in for the injured Big Ben. All right, who do you think is going to be the top performer out of those?
The top performer I see this week is Colin Kaepernick. He can run. They bring him in the game a lot for running plays, and he looked good last week, leading the 49ers to eventually a tie, but still, he kept the game within control and handled things very well.
I see Jason Campbell as being a top performer this week out of all those backups. He has done it before in the NFL, starting for Washington. He played for Oakland. He's going to come into a very strong Bears team, and he's going to get the job done.
All right, Tyler, tell me about the muscle hamster, Doug Martin.
Doug Martin. At Carolina, very weak defense over there. Expect him to have another explosion of a week. 24 points.
A little guy that you expect not do so well this week, Reggie Bush. Going Thursday night against Buffalo, and Bush has been inconsistent after having a huge start to the season, and only expect 12 points from Bush this week.
I would expect maybe even less. Last week he was taken out for just one fumble
in
the first half.
Daniel Thomas could get most of the carries. How about Sean Green?
Sean Green, player that nobody wanted this year. Jets, everyone thought the big name was on Tebow, but right now it's Sean Green. He's going against St. Louis, who has a very weak defense. They're in St. Louis, and expect him to have a breakout week with 22 points.
Yeah, good season for me so far. Calvin Johnson, going against Green Bay, and after the huge game last week, I don't know how he could get any better. He had 207 yards and a touchdown. Look for him to fall slightly short of that performance this week with 24 points, but still a great week. Keep him in the lineup.
Miles Austin, everybody was looking at him in the beginning to have a big year this year. Not as big as Calvin Johnson, obviously, but still bigger than he's been having. And still, he's not performing the way we all expected. Against Cleveland's weak defense, only 8 points.
Josh Morgan from Washington is our sleeper this week. Philadelphia's defense has been giving up the big plays this year, and I don't think Josh Morgan is going to be any exception. If you have him, which most people probably do not, put him in your lineup and start him because he's projected 12 points this week.
Tight ends, Jimmy Graham. All right, huge week last week. What do you have, 26 28?
Points.
26 points. All right, at Oakland, who doesn't have a very strong defense. Unfortunately, the only position they can cover is the tight end, and expect him to have another breakout week, 15 plus points for him.
Jacob Tamme, going against the weaker defense of San Diego. Peyton Manning knows how to throw him and has been on fire, but only 1 point for Tamme. Manning usually likes to hit a lot of different targets, so maybe he doesn't throw the ball to Tamme this week, but whatever the case is, only 1 point this week.
A big name showing up in Denver is Joel Dreesen. He's been playing, nobody expected him to play like this. Playing great right now, and right now he's their number one tight end. They have two very strong tight ends there, and Peyton Manning's been consistently throwing to Dreesen.
How about Scott Chandler?
Scott Chandler out of Buffalo. Small name, there's two small names here, Josh Morgan and Scott Chandler, and really, against Miami, they don't have the strongest secondary, Expect him to have 12, maybe even more than that.
Defenses this week. The Falcons D, which has been pretty good all year. Playing the Cardinals, who've been up and down, inconsistent would be a word to describe their season. Look for, I don't even know who's going to start this week for quarterback, but whoever it is, they're going to be stopped. And 10 points for the Falcons defense this week.
Saints defense, what's going on? They're expected -2 points against Oakland. All right. Yeah, they got Darius Hayward-Bay. They got Carson Palmer. They don't have, or no, they do have Darren McFadden, which is big. They got him back this week.
But still, the Saints defense, not many people have them, and if you do, you should drop them because there's no benefit coming from them.
It's just sad. It's just sad.
The Bengals D. After a great week last week in New York, they look to take on the weaker attack of Kansas City. Surprisingly, they've dropped those since last week. Only 8 points after the 13 they put up last week. Maybe last week was a fluke, but whatever the case is, you should probably have them in your lineup this week. It should be another big week for the Bengals this week.
So speaking of that game, Cincinnati, KC. KC's kicker, Ryan Suckup. He is expected 11 this week. I don't know if they're going to get in the end zone much, but he's going to kick a lot of field goals because Cincy doesn't allow
a lot of points. Yeah.
They don't allow teams to get into the end zone. So expect him to kick a couple 40s, maybe even a 50.
All right, some notable buys for this week: Giants, Vikings, Titans, and Seahawks. So no more Eli for this week, which might be a good thing. Victor Cruz, Adrian Peterson, who's been on an absolute fire. Chris Johnson, who's been getting better, and Matt Hasselbeck, not Matt Hasselbeck.
No.
I was thinking of that.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. There we go.
He's been a very sensational rookie this year.
Yeah.
Our injury report this week, not looking too good.
A lot of quarterbacks out.
Even worse are 2 big name receivers.
Yeah. Why don't you start?
Julio Jones, questionable with a lower leg injury. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but if he does, he will have a huge week, as he always does. They're going against, who's Atlanta going against again? Oh, the Cardinals, who they don't have the weakest secondary, but Julio Jones on one side, Roddy White on the other, and Tony Gonzalez in the middle. It's going to be a big week for Julio Jones. If keep with him, expect him to play, and when he does, expect a ton of points.
All right, Jordy Nelson. He's been out the past couple of weeks with the injury to his foot and his hamstring, but look for him to have a mediocre performance this week. He's still questionable, so he might not even play. So you might want to sit him on the bench this week. It's really hurting some fantasy owners because he's been good, but keep with him, and he'll probably show up near the end of the season.
Now onto the schedule for this week.
How about Thursday night game?
Thursday night game, Dolphins-Bills. I have Dolphins winning this one. Obviously, Bills not a very strong team. As we talked about, they got Scott Chandler out there, but that's the only player that's on this list. We got Reggie Bush.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins winning it too. So
we got Reggie Bush. We got Daniel Thomas on that side. Expect them, big game.
How about Cowboys-Browns?
I have the boys winning this one.
I agree with you.
Browns weak team. Boys seem to be getting stronger every week.
How about Bucks-Panthers?
Buccaneers.
Yeah,
they've been on a complete tear.
Russell Hamster's gonna go off this week again, so look for that.
How about Chiefs Bengals?
And the Bengals.
I got the Bengals too. They, as you guys all saw, last week's win. Expect them to continue that, especially against the weak Chiefs.
How about I have the Packers over the Lions, Texans over the Jaguars, Rams over the Jets, Eagles over the Redskins. That's a matchup of 2 bad teams. Falcons over the Cardinals, Saints over the Raiders, Broncos over the Chargers, Patriots over the Colts, and Ravens over the Steelers.
I gotta agree on everyone except for the Colts-Patriots game. As you guys all know, I'm a Colts fan, but Andrew Luck has been playing great, especially for a rookie. He doesn't even look like he's one. Looks like he's a vet. All right, going against obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best, in Tom Brady. They have a very strong offense.
Stephen Ridley.
this first year of running the ball well for both teams, actually.
Yeah.
Colts got Vic Ballard and Donald Brown, and the Patriots got Stephen Ridley, Danny Woodhead, Brendan Bolden, who I believe is still out, Shane Vereen. Very strong teams. I have the Colts winning this one just because of last week's performance on defense.
It'll be a good matchup. I have some trading block.
Our trading block?
Drop. We're trade for.
Rashad Jennings. I know we were all about, pick him up, because Maurice Jones-Drew is out. He has not been performing. Last week, 2 points, 3 points, not even sure. He's not what we expected him to be. That first week when Maurice Jones-Drew went down, he had almost 20 points. Now he's barely even scoring 5. Trade him if somebody's willing to, or drop him, pick somebody up.
Brent Selleck. He's been just getting worse and worse as the year's been going on. Try to pick him another, heating up tight end, maybe Heath Miller, Jimmy Graham, somebody that if you can. Otherwise, you might want to drop him and look for somebody in the free agent market.
All right, now to our player of the week. Not really a player, but a group of players. Broncos defense had a great game against the Panthers last
Huge game,
week.
28 points.
20 points, that's outstanding. And they're just getting better and better and better. One of those defenses that just doesn't stop working throughout the season. I'm impressed. Congratulations.
Yeah. All right, so that's all for this week in Every Man's Fantasy. I'm Liam.
And I'm Tyler. Thanks for watching.